when your target audience or your potential buyers are this group of people, you can't fool them around in a sense, right? So the competition, as heated as it gets, the quality doesn't suffer, but there are certain expectations. I challenge people like, have you seen a single third-party kit so far without a clear parts? They all do.
Welcome to Newtype Notebook, a podcast celebrating the work of incredible builders across the gunpla and model building community. I'm Ricky. You can find me on Instagram at Ricky_glues. It's been a while. Glad to be back with a special one-off episode for the summer. If you've been building gunpla these past few years, you cannot have missed an absolute explosion of third-party kits from China. From straight-up knockoffs of Bandai HGs and MGs at a fraction of the cost of the real thing, to highly detailed kits of fan-favorite mobile suits, to totally original designs, China's modeling scene has given builders an endless amount of incredible and surprisingly affordable new choices. With this new explosion of options and choices comes an equal number of questions. Who's designing these kits? How are they so affordable? What's the history of these secretive brands, and what's the impact on Bandai and the model industry moving forward? Fortunately for us, we have a guide to help us think through all these questions. I sat down with Simon from LAScalemodel to talk all things Chinese third party. Simon has been researching the Chinese model kit industry for his whole modeling career, and he's been writing some amazing articles on his shop's weblog about some of the most fascinating episodes in the history of the Chinese model kit industry, and about some of the most notable brands and kits the industry has to offer. And joining me in this episode is Lang, aka Skyfire Riser on Instagram, who has tons of hands-on experience with these third-party kits and was an absolute blast to have as a guest co-host. I hope you enjoy the episode. Thanks for listening. I really appreciate you coming on, man. It's this third-party kits and Chinese models has been something that is getting more and more attention in our hobby, and personally for me too. I built my first one maybe only a year ago, and it was the Monument repair type.
Okay.
And that was an awesome one, and I loved it. And since then, I feel like I've probably built more third-party kits than Bandai kits at that point. Lang, what about you? What's your experience with third-party kits?
My experience would have to start with Supernova. And of course, if you've built, Simon's already flinching because it's like trying to hug a porcupine when you're trying to build those kits. It's a different kind of, I have to press these together without stabbing myself. But the aesthetic, I love how they look when you're finished, even when they're just snapped. I've built the wing and the desk scythe, and then I have the other three in my backlog. But my backlog has converted more from Bandai to a lot of third-party ones now. I recently just got the Fenrir.
The Fenrir?
Yeah, that one's
the big boy.
Getting tempting. Yeah.
Well, before we really dive in, let's take a minute to sort of get to know both of you a little bit better. So, Simon, why don't we start with you? Can you just tell us where you're from? What do you do?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is a great opportunity, and it's going to be a fun session. I love talking about these things. So, first of all, my name is Simon, and I run the shop LAScalemodel.com, and I am Chinese, and I migrated here years and years ago. Since I was very little. So that's kind of a little bit about my background, and I'm also an engineer. I'm a software engineer before, and I'm still a software engineer, if you will. So anything that has logical sense to it, and like it's something that it really attracts me. So model kit naturally is something that I really love. So yeah.
Nice. And we were talking before we started recording, and your shop is out in Covina.
That's
and
right.
For LA people, I happen to grow up pretty close to there too, and so but I was born in the States, even though my parents are Taiwanese, but I was born in the States, so my Chinese definitely not as good as yours. And Simon, how long have you been building model kits?
So this is a long overdue About Us page that I haven't put up because I keep on making changes to it. Because I need to make sure that I'm not telling super long story. But anyways, I started building since I was in elementary school when I was in China. And then back then it was mom's and pop's shop and buying military models. I used to love building aircraft carriers, warships, and all that. And they're like tiny. They're just about this big. I don't even know if they even had a grade on it or even the brand to it. They're very crude, and they used to give you like a tube of glue to work with. They smelled horrible, by the way. But yeah, so that's where I kind of started building since elementary school. Using I used to twist the parts off the runners, and using scissors to cut them off. Yeah, very crude, but that's where it started. And that's something that I loved building. And after I've migrated to the States, I think I lost the hobby for at least a few years because I didn't even know it's a thing here still. I used to build in China. It was a lot more accessible because moms and pop shop would carry these things for kids. Here it's less accessible, but I think I need to tell this story right, which is I went to Kaiser in Baldwin Park. Ricky, you probably know where Baldwin Park is, but it's a city very close to where I am right now. So I went to Kaiser to do my annual checkup, and I came out of Kaiser and I just stumbled upon this hobby shop, and this hobby shop name is Tony's Hobby, and it's still there, by the way. And I was like, oh, what is that? So I just kind of went in there and see what's up. That really reopened the door for me. And that was, so I have a lot of respect for local hobby shops, by the way. And it was this guy, it is his shop. That's Tony. He's retired now, by the way. And we're really good friends. And he was the one that kind of reintroduced me back to this hobby, reintroduced me into all the brands and everything I didn't know. I basically kind of got lost of. And then and he encourages me. He's like, oh yeah, go home, build it. Don't worry about how bad, how good, how bad it looks. Just build it like the way that you love it and how you want it to look, and take pictures. I don't want to see it. And he actually meant it. So I actually took pictures, and I went back to him, and then he actually went through everything and say, oh, you did this wrong. Here, you could have done this, blah, 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 blah. He's retired now. The shop is run by his kids, but yeah, that's Tony. And that's a huge influence for me, to be reintroduced back to this hobby. Yeah, so that's a little bit of background of the model kits. I build military models, I build car models, I build plane models. Those are the things that I used to build, paint them and all that. But I grew up in the era of Macross. You got TheBlackComet Blade.
Yes,
I love TheBlackComet Blade. By
yes, I'm a huge fan too.
I actually collect them. I have D-Boy. I have Evil. So yep. I'm still collecting them from Orange Cat and also figurines and stuff. So now, Macross, the original.
I've got to go reach. You keep talking. Hang on.
Yeah, the OG Macross. That's also something that I grew up on. Gundam, a little bit of it when I was growing up, but I got introduced into it as I grew up and started watching anime and all that. So mecha specifically, those are the things I really love. And when I discovered there is a thing called gunpla, and I don't have to paint it, or oh, that's cool. Oh, there you go. There you go. There's a blue one, by the way. There's also a blue
I got them both. This one is the green one, the Soul, that just came out, and I just snapped, and I love.
Yeah, there's also the blue one is really hard to find, by the way. It's discontinued. Actually, this one is also discontinued.
So the green has all the parts to build the blue as a green with the shoulder cannons and everything else, but the green has different pieces to it. So it's,
I didn't know that. Mine's still sitting in a box. I'm too scared to open it.
build night. Let's go, Simon.
Well, that's awesome. And so it sounds like you like Gundam and Gunpla, but you have a really wide breadth of like different subjects that you like, including cars. And I'm a big car person myself alongside Gundam too. Can we talk a little bit about your shop? So when did you decide to open LA Scale Model?
LAScalemodel.com actually opened on December 22nd, 2022. There's a lot of twos in there, by the way. So this is something that I told my wife a long time ago, that I want to retire to be like Tony, and I want to own my own shop. My dream retirement is that I'm sitting behind a counter building the kit that I want to build, and the customer walks in and I talk to them about model kits. And that is my dream retirement.
We need to bring you on a trip up to Seattle. There's someone that does that on a daily basis at International.
Really?
Toys and Model. Yes.
Yeah,
Good
shout out
old
to Tom.
Yep.
Make me jealous.
That is a dream. Yeah, I love it.
So anyways, out of all these years, being reintroduced back into the hobby, I started building up the backlog. And I actually have a T-shirt that's it's on the way. It's called a Backlog Warrior. So I have a lot of backlogs as well, and it kept on growing and growing. My wife used nag me about it, like, when are you gonna build it? She doesn't stop me from buying them, because I do build them, but not all of them. But the common answer is I'll get to it. I'll build it tomorrow. I'll build it next week. Right?
Yep.
But at some point, I've decided that I've got way too many kits sitting there that I will never be able to finish building. And there are way too many kits I really want to get my hands on. And it's going to be a lot more cost effective if I get a distributor license.
Just like that. Oh, that's
just
smart.
Like that. It didn't work out that way. But I realized, there's a volume requirement to it as well.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, that's kind of how it started. And being a software engineer myself, so I just put the site together and okay, let's go. Turn it on, flip the lights on, let's see where it goes. And then trial and error, and that's where we are right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then what's the URL for the store for people
who want to check you out? It's LAScalemodel.com.
All right, awesome. And out of the LA area in California.
Okay, I've got to jump in right there, Simon. When you build, because this is always the debate in the community, when it's, do you mostly snap or are they full-on customs? Where do you usually lean? And then I got a follow-up after that.
Sure. It depends. I don't have a straight answer for you. Some of the kits I do just snap them together and call it a day. Some of them, if I got some kind of inspiration or something, a cool idea of a color alteration, I would do that. I'm not a kit bashing person, and I'm just going to be very honest about it. I just don't know how to do it. Not that physically don't know how to do it. I just don't have the idea to do it.
Right.
But color alteration is something I really love.
When you do the color alterations, are you a pre-assemble or just take right off the runners and start painting?
Pre-assemble. I always do a dry build first, because you don't know what it's going to be.
How you assemble? Right. No,
Exactly.
I was that. I'll admit fully that I always pre-snap. In fact, I literally have almost about a dozen to 2 dozen HGs just above my computer right now that I'm like, oh, sure, I'll get to those someday that are pre-assembled. But recently, this last year, I tried 1 or 2 straight from the runners. It's faster.
They don't fit because this is something that you have to learn from hard lessons, right? If you paint everything, especially you paint it on a runner, sometimes you don't know which part that you're not supposed to paint because the joints and all that. If you paint that, good luck to your thumbs, really. Like they're just not gonna go in.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, I'm kind of I'm also a paint first and then snap later type of builder. Just because like I'm just scared of breaking things if I try to snap something together and then try to take it all apart again to paint. You know what I mean?
But
I feel like
scared. Yeah, I'll show you something. Hold on.
I feel like I've gotten pretty good at reading the manual and understanding the diagrams and where things belong and what can be seen painted and what can't, and I can avoid. You know.
You guys know what this is, right?
Oh, we've got blue tack for days.
Yeah, the poster putties, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's always on at my table, because when I do dry fitting, I do cut off some of the studs and all that, just so that I can take them apart easily. But when you put them together, you need something to hold it.
Yeah, the pre-assembling, when I'm really focused and want to make a really nice build, seam lines. Seam lines are where it's like, okay, where is this going to go together, and how is usually where I start getting... I overthink it quite a bit, and that's when I'm just frustrated over... if I do remove the seam line, how are you going to disassemble to paint, or... deconstruct is a better word for it, probably.
I think the hardest part is when you, especially when you look at some of the Zaku shoulders, the HG Zaku shoulders, right? You want to remove the seam line, but after you remove the seam line, what about the joint that's inside, right? Like, what do? Do you convert them into a C, what do you call it, the C connector, or do you just assemble it and then? And then just glue it on.
Don't ever move it.
Yeah, don't ever move it. Right. Yeah. So those are tough decisions.
Well, Lang, we've learned a little bit about you already, but is there anything else that you want to add about yourself as a builder?
About me? How am I supposed to follow up Simon, please?
Oh.
No, some folks in the community know me. Real quickly, I'm Lang, Skyfire Riser on Instagram. I've jumped around on plenty of Discord servers. What I have been doing, I started in the early 2000s around Wing, when they were at GameStop on clearance, and I snapped a 1/100 HG, and I was hooked at the time. And then I didn't see any kits for a number of years until I saw Gundam 00 on the Sci-Fi Channel and started hunting for it. And found a number of HGs, and then it just snowballed. And now it's gotten to the point where I just like to build, because for me, building is something that at the end of the day, I get a big satisfaction of, okay, I have this piece of plastic. I'm either going to change it, or am I going to fix it? Like, I had an issue before, like, scribe lines or a little bit of kit bashing. It helps me reset, saying I fixed something today, because in our professional lives, not everything can be fixed every single day. So it's helped me a lot in that sense. And then I like to share. Ricky knows on my Instagram, I started doing this once or twice, and now it's just like, this is what I love to do. So with my customs that I build, I just give them away. And I'll do little drawings every so often when I can get around to it. I literally just gave away a Zoc that I painted like a shark, because the best holiday is Shark Week, and it's coming up. So, that's just what I do. And it's I feel this is no way to say everybody should do this, but it would be a lot of fun if the whole community shared and traded customs. I'm very grateful to have shout out to More Than One, Danzerdragoon, and M.A.Cabell flips. I have customs from all of them, and those are ones I would never do anything with. So it's nice to have very unique pieces of Gundam's kits. So that's why I do it.
Yeah, I think more than a lot of people I know, like Lang is very... is like one of the best, like, sort of community building types of modelers in it. Yeah, and so I really appreciate having you on, man. So Simon, what does the community look like for you?
So twofolds, right? There's the community as what is on Reddit, the subreddit, Gunpla subreddit. I don't really take that much time anymore, like answering all the questions on subreddit. But if I do have the time, I do still try to participate. But that is something that I really love, and then that's one of the things that I really loved about a community of whether it's scale modeling or Gunpla is everybody is very open to sharing. If you dial the time back like 10-15 years, and then you just look at, let's say, the scale modeling community, it is a little bit more of a closed circle. And there are a lot of techniques that are just kind of hidden, right? And if you talk to them, they're more than willing to share, but they just don't have the kind of community that we have today, where you have Discord, you have subreddit and all that. But now it's like you get all sorts of things people are sharing, also cool ways of painting, cool way of customization. And then it's a very welcoming community. Like if you look at on subreddit, right, on Gunpla subreddit, when people show up with their first build, it's never really judged. I mean, granted, there's always going to be a few people that will do that, but but for the most part, majority of the people that are in that subreddit, like they don't judge on like the quality of the build if this is the first time you're building. They judge on the effort. They encourage on that effort, and then they give constructive feedbacks like, oh, you should do this this way next time, careful with this part, and those are very constructive feedbacks. And then like if you ever wonder like is my build good, and like if I've met a few guys before, like I build all the time but I don't have friends that I share with them, like post it on subreddit, you'll feel like home.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's first part, and the second part is the customer base, and I do like to interact with the customers more, and that's why I used to live stream, but recently I kind of stopped because other things are taking over, and it's really hard to carve out a time to do that because it dedicate like 2 hours per week is a little bit. It's a lot, but I do want to reboot that. But when I was live streaming, it was a lot of fun talking to people. I mean, whether they're buying or not, being able to exchange ideas and and answering questions, it's very satisfying. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's very satisfying.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. If people want to connect with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can email us at info@LAScalemodel.com. Or they can ping us on, or ping me on Instagram, Facebook. The messengers, they all work. I try to respond them like within the hour, unless I'm sleeping. But yeah.
Yeah. Lang, any other quick questions for Simon?
When you mentioned just your customer base, that made me snicker because I've worked in retail, and you. Correct me if I'm wrong, you probably have memorable customers, to say the least, when you start connecting.
I do.
I love it. Going back to the subreddits, you mentioned that, and that got my mind kind of churning. What was one of the biggest surprise, either jumping into a subreddit or maybe a customer that came back saying, this is how I've progressed? Has there any been an experience of, oh, wow, look at this growth, or look at how either change or improvement or surprise?
Not directly from subreddit. I do have customers who started building their very first kit. They asked me to suggest kits for them, which I did, and they progressed, and now this customer is actually airbrushing.
Nice.
So I can't take the credit. He loves it, and then he's going out there looking for information. But I feel very lucky to help him at the very beginning, to help him open up that door.
Yeah,
that's a good feeling.
That's fantastic. So yeah, I reached out to you, Simon, through Instagram, and you were really responsive and really awesome, and I appreciated that. Even though I don't think we've ever interacted at all, or but one of the reasons why I was hoping to have you on today is because on LAScalemodel.com, there are a ton of really fantastic articles that you've written about specifically Chinese third-party model kit brands and manufacturers. And you really get deep into like the history of a lot of these brands and about the sort of third-party Chinese industry. And we've seen, even just in the past few years, right, Lang, like just an explosion of these kits.
Yeah.
And I remember when my first experience with a knockoff kit was back in probably like 2002 when I was in middle school. And a friend of mine and I went to like a gift shop and we saw an Evangelion Eva model kit. And we were dabbling in some like Bandai kits at the time. And he was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And it's like only, I don't know, $20 or whatever. Like, I'm going to buy it and take it home. And then he took it home only to see on the box that it didn't say Bandai, it said Bendy, right?
Oh, no.
He opened it up.
That's rough.
And, like, I don't know if you know about these old Bendy kits, but he opened it up. Man, the instructions didn't make any sense. Like, it had like maybe 60% of the parts that you needed. Nothing fit right. And it was just like garbage, right? But fast forward to today, and I think it's undisputable that a lot of these model kits are even more well engineered, more intricate, more technically, masterful than anything that Bandai has produced, right? And so we were hoping that you could take us through that journey of like the history of these third-party model kits, and also like I'm just really personally fascinated about like what these brands are all about, like who's designing these things, like who's building them, where are these brands coming from, and like how are they so cheap, like these are just the questions that pop through my mind every time I see a new design show up, that's announced on Instagram or X or whatever. So first, what's your connection to third-party Chinese kits? What led you to research them? What do you find interesting about them?
So it's actually really interesting when you talk about Bandy. I think I got an experience with a bootleg a long time ago, and it was what was it? It was the 00 series Lock On that I got off of AliExpress. This was a long time ago, and when I got it, and the instruction manual was probably the most amazing thing that I've ever seen. It's one sheet. It's literally one sheet, and on one side it's all in Chinese. I'm like, okay, how the hell are people gonna read this? Yeah. And I flipped the page over. I was like, oh, this has to be English. It's in Russian. It is the most amazing thing ever. I'm like, okay, what is this? This is not Bandai. I don't even remember what the brand was. I actually put it together. Like if you dig through my Instagram and you go all the way back to the very first couple posts, you will see that kit there. It's horrible. It's industrial garbage. That's how I label them. But yeah, so my connection, like I didn't really live through the very early on era of the knockoff or KO, right? But I did live through some of it, fairly recently, especially, right? But for example, like the old stuff, I wrote about, the very first knockoff really doesn't come from China. It came from South Korea, and it's a company that I'm very, very familiar with, which is Academy. So for those people that actually build scale models, especially military models, they're very aware of who Academy is, and their quality is quote unquote very stands out very well amongst all the other kids. So they're known for copying things all the time anyways, even in the military model world. So when I started piecing all these information together, I was like, oh, Academy, okay, so that doesn't surprise me anymore. But it was the part that really surprised me was that it actually started over there. But then as time passed, as I did all these researches, I have a lot of friends who built as well, local friends and people from China, my friends as well. and people that I became friends with as I traveled back to China to visit, and these people talked about, you know, their past experiences with building, their past experiences with KO, and, you know, bits and pieces of the information I hear from them. Those are important things that I take, that kind of stuck in my mind. And then when I'm doing the research, those are the things that helps me, you know, with the direction of where I should do the research. And so, yeah, so, you know, you started with Academy in South Korea, and then there's the early, really horrible kits that were made in Hong Kong. I think this is the part I haven't put out the article just yet, the part 2 of it. But yeah, so the very early ones were from Hong Kong, and it was underground. It was sold as, you know, through moms and pop shop. And then you have, you know, in the early 1990s, this is when China really exploded, right? Like, because, you know, I don't want to get into the political history and all that, but anyways, that's when China really opened up its door to the rest of the world, and the manufacturing capacity really came online, and especially the manufacturers around Hong Kong area. This is where it started growing and growing, and then the shift of making bootlegs in Hong Kong, and actually, you know, Taiwan as well. I actually had a piece of it as well, but then that all shifted over to Guangdong, the province. In that province specifically, and it is still there as of today, and that's where you started getting Supernova, you started getting Bandy, Xiaobailong, right, Gao Gao, and all that started popping back then, and you know, I covered that in one of my articles, which is that the existence of the KO. You know, if we put the moral side of it, you know, to the side, right? We just talk about why they exist and why we just need to acknowledge that they exist. Is that the cost of these kits? If you were buying them legit, you know, straight up from Bandai, let's say an HG kit, right? It will cost you like $15, $20, right? If you will convert that to RMB in China, that's $140 in their currency. When people are making 2,000 a month, and that's on a high end, and back in the day, not today. Today is a little bit better, but you know, back in the day, 1,000, 2,000 RMB per month salary is normal. Taking 20% of your pay out just to buy an HG kit, that's not a hobby. That's an investment, right? So the existence of these knockoffs came because they're like, we can make them cheaper. The quality's gonna suffer, but you know, and especially for kids, they're watching. You know, I think in China it was the Wing Gundam and also the Seed, Destiny, and all that. Like, they grew up on these. You know, like, you got kids going to school, and they don't have the, you know, spending power. They only have, you know, pocket changes that you know, the parents give them, the allowances like that. They're not looking for $140 kits. They're looking for $20 kits that they can afford, right? That's the market that the KO carved out, is literally tailoring to the majority of these kids that are buying them. Like, they don't know, they don't really care. To be honest, like, whether it's that high quality. What they care about is, hey, I have this and I can go brag about it with my friends. Yep. Or I love this and I just want to have it in my collection. So there is a real demand for that. That's just a gap that's never been filled. Even up to today, it's still that gap that hasn't been filled by Bandai per se. And that's I personally think that is one of the reasons why these KOs will continue to exist. And yeah.
Just in these markets where, like, the economy is not as strong, or people just don't make enough to justify buying, like, the real deal.
I wouldn't say, I you know, again, don't want to get into geopolitical stuff, but, you know, like, it's different dynamics, right? A different economy, different dynamics, different country, different living styles, and it produces different results.
Yeah. So a lot of these early kits, though, terminology is helpful. So you say knockoff, and when we say knockoff, you literally mean like this was a Bandai runner. They take it, they reverse engineer it, they make their own mold, and then they produce like a lower quality plastic version of the exact same kit, right?
Yes.
So that takes us maybe into the next sort of era, and Bandai starts to play a little bit of a bigger role in this era. And I think you wrote a really great article specifically about Gao Gao and Dragon Momoko.
Daban and a Dragon Momoko.
Yeah,
right?
Daban. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about like that history?
Yeah. So Daban, Dragon Momoko, that is one of the probably the most thrilling story of the KO world or the knockoff era. So this is something that sorry, I turned on the fan. It's probably producing a lot of noise.
Don't keep me in suspense. I'm actually excited for this. Come on, let's go.
So this is something that I did read and experience through social medias and back then in China. Well, I was here already, but I do read Chinese news and all that. But these two were the first that appeared was Dragon Momoko. Daban was still there. Daban was not called Daban back then, right? But they existed, but they didn't exist in a way that was directly competing with Dragon Momoko. Dragon Momoko was the one that kind of really went out and started copying at higher quality, and that's when Daban noticed and it started competing. So there was this thing called Daban versus Dragon Momoko war. So Momoko in Japanese, or Momo, right? Momo is peach. And so the term that they used in China was, they called it Ban Tao Zhan. So Ban is Daban, Tao is Dragon Momoko, Zhan is war. Basically, Daban versus Dragon Momoko war. So essentially what happens was that, they were just competing with each other on who can produce better kits and who can actually come up with copies even faster. But Dragon Momoko went a little bit further. They started modifying. They started making changes to kits, and they started introducing things that Bandai didn't even do. Well, not kits, but eventually they did. But they started doing modifications to parts in the owner's own words during the testimony in a courtroom. Is like, I made changes that Bandai never did, and these are original designs. That's his own words, during the court testimony. And so the rumor is that at some point, as they were competing with each other, the quality started getting better. At the end of the day, consumers really benefits from them, right? Yeah. But it's a darker side of the market. Whether we justify the KO through dynamics of economy or not, it's still a darker side of the market. So the darker side of the market isn't a huge market. So the pie is only this big. Yeah. So when you have two giants fighting over each other, someone wants to eat the other. One wants to eat the other side, right? Right. So the rumor was Daban reported Dragon Momoko. There's really no evidence of that, but the rumor is always there. Up to today, I was actually talking to one of the guy, and he's a long-time builder. Like he lived through the Bandy era and all that. I was just having lunch with him today, and he still kind of has thoughts about how Daban actually reported Dragon Momoko to really kick off.
Not if they did, but how they did. That's funny.
This is like the Tupac versus Biggie of knockoff Gundam. Yeah. But
Dragon Momoko got the Bandai actually went to China authority first. Again, we don't know whether the rumor is true, if Bandai actually tipped them off or not. But I think it was just bleeding obvious at that point, right? There's Dragon Momoko, there's Bandai. But I think Dragon Momoko went a little bit too far. They started copying off MBs, and they started doing more designs, and they started going bold with their box designs and all that. And it was at a point where you look at the Dragon Momoko box, you're like, this looks prettier than the Bandai one, right? So I think I don't know what the internal working of Bandai or whatever, but at some point they reported Dragon Momoko, and that the raid happened. They went through all the evidence gathering and all that, and eventually raided them. And so in China, there's this thing which is, if you cooperate with the authority and then you show good grace, right? Like, they will go easy on you on a sentencing and all that, and a punishment. But what Dragon Momoko did was exactly the opposite of it. They went up to the court and tried to argue that this is something that is original design, but they end up being struck down by the court, and now the punishment is even harsher. So that's how the molds were completely destroyed. Like, I can't find those pictures anymore when I was writing these articles, but I do remember seeing pictures of the molds being grinded by the police. But that's where it ended up with Dragon Momoko, right? But you still have Dragon Momoko kits circulating out there, and there's also rumors that not all the molds were destroyed. According to some of the friends and some people that I talked to, Dragon Momoko didn't really produce in one single factory. They did, they did contract out some of the capacity, so there could be potential molds out there. Let the rumor mill run. Who knows? And then what happens next, which is kind of shocking, is Daban saw that as, oh my God, there's a gap I can fill now. Let me grow big. Let me go bold. So they went even bolder, and then Bandai went ahead and filed a official complaint with the Chinese police as well. But what Daban did was different, was that they cooperated. Cooperated in a way that is, this will fit into a mafia movie if I would actually tell you the whole story. You know what I mean? Like, cut this out of this thing. I don't want to be the one that's like
Mobile Suit Mafia. I
got to blur your face. Like,
it changed my tone. But essentially, what I will just reference off what I wrote. Okay.
Sure.
Essentially what happens is it's multiple villages that are all working off the same project, which is Daban. And it's a big entity that has roots into all these villages, cities, and all that. So there's a lot of local tax revenues that are tied to it. And there are, there are people in the village that are not even builders, that have nothing to do with Gundam. They don't even know what the hell Gundam is. Right. Like the people there, sweeping the floor and stuff, like they don't know, but they're getting a pay out of it, right? So essentially what happens is that when the authority went over there, they realized that if we're going to take Daban down completely, we're going to be destroying the economy of half a province, essentially. Well, not province, that might be an over exaggeration, but multiple villages, livelihood is going to be taken away. So that's why the treatment, in my opinion, I think the treatment was very different for Daban versus Dragon Momoko, right? Dragon Momoko, the owner went to jail for 3 years, and got fined, and all the molds were destroyed. Daban, on the other hand, none of them actually went to jail.
We still have Daban kids today, right?
Daban's still there,
right now.
Right? And then the molds, which is the most important, the most interesting thing. The 18 molds, they were left at the factory floor with seals, sealing tapes on them. But the court filing or anything, they never said like what to do with them, and never said like anyone's supposed to guard them. It just left there, right? And how it should be used, how it should be handled is up to anyone's interpretation. So
bizarre.
It's very bizarre. It's a very bizarre story.
I've got to know, because I find the copyright things and IP addresses very interesting when they start going after people for certain IPs. We love you, Disney. But going back to what you said, how the guy at Dragon Momoko said, okay, this is an original idea. We only changed this and that. I know in college I tried saying, yep, this is my paper. I only changed this and this from the professors. Like, that doesn't fly. So in my mind, how did they try and justify, like, how much was actually original versus not? Was that a part of the story, or who knows?
It was. At the court filing and also the court argument for the Dragon Momoko case, as far as I can tell from what I dug up, was that since the patent that was registered in Japan really doesn't apply in China. That's number one.
Oh, okay.
Number two,
it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's same thing today. Still, the patents that were registered in Japan doesn't necessarily apply to the U.S. as well.
Right. You have to have patents per country. Yeah. I work for a plastic manufacturer now, and I've actually been learning about every country, whether they have the patent in that country or it's the patent pending per country. Oh, this is fascinating.
But there's a moral standard to that, right? But when you think, exactly, you think, right? So first of all, there, the Japanese patents doesn't apply to whatever that's in China, but there's also the geopolitical pressure as well from between the two countries, and at a case as big as Dragon Momoko, which is basically made Japanese news and all that. So something needs to be done. Something needed to be done. So, and it was also at the time when China was actually showing the rest of the world in a good grace kind of a gesture that you're saying, like, we're no longer this country that makes just poor quality things and copying things. They're trying to convert themselves into like, we make good stuff, right? So it's kind of within that effort, Dragon Momoko got really harsh punishment, and the laws were changing at the time. So the argument from the court was that even though the patent doesn't apply from Japan to China, but when we compare the kits and what they did, which is on the surface, everything looks nearly identical. Whether you change something inside the inner frames, the joints and all that, doesn't really take away the fact that you copy the surface. It's the surface, it's the look of the kit that actually makes people to buy, not exactly that ball, like that one change that you're making. Yep. That's the argument that they made in court.
It's a good argument.
It is a good argument, right? But the reality is, if you compare the two cases, Daban got away with it. They just put a pause on their production, and then they just a 6 month pause period, a cooling your head down a little bit, and then boom, everything restarts. And then when they restarted, this is even more fascinating, is that they no longer have their own stores on the multiple platforms that are in China. There's the major players, Taobao, which is the Chinese version of AliExpress. You got a bunch of other platforms, Pinduoduo and all that. They don't sell them as their own entity anymore.
Yeah.
And the playbook is being copied. It's essentially identical playbook for every knockoff. Even the ones that Ricky, that you were mentioning about, right? The Solomons and all that.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same playbook. Is as soon as it gets announced, as soon as something is being made, first of all, you're not going to find traces of them on any of the social media. Somehow the news just broke out to everybody. Somehow all these influencers got pictures of the prototype or the build, whatever, right? And somehow some people got a hold of the copy so they can build it and show it off to people. When that happens, people are like, oh, this looks cool. And then next thing you know, you go to Taobao or whatever, you start seeing all these shops, hundreds and thousands of them, that have no sales, and that just popped out of nowhere overnight. And they were selling these kits.
Right. And, there's no Daban.com basically,
no,
right?
No.
It's just that all these little shops just start showing up.
It's like
with
Bitcoin. It's decentralized. You know.
Yeah. They go straight to those that have the distributor license, right, Simon?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But in a sense, yes. Like they could go to them and like, oh, that's
the stores in China aren't necessarily clean either. Like, especially the big ones today. There's a lot of big model shops, the online model shops in China, and they're very famous. And if you go to their site, they don't sell these kits, right? But they have the capacity, they have the knowledge, they have the know-how to actually spin up these little shops. I'm not going to speculate if they're doing it or not. There are rumors of it, but the reality is when something comes out and then you see hundreds of these shops just pop out of nowhere, and somehow they all have plenty of stocks to go with. But that's exactly the same playbook now. So it makes it especially hard for the authority to actually track down on a single target.
So it's the shops that just kind of appear, sell this kit, and then disappear.
Exactly.
And then when the next kit comes along, a new shop pops up.
Yep.
Okay. That's fascinating.
It's still happening today.
So if you're an authority trying to crack down, you're just like kind of playing whack-a-mole in a sense, right?
It's incredibly well. I mean, it's first of all, it's incredibly hard. Second of all, they don't really label themselves as I'm this brand and I'm consistently this brand anymore. The water is a lot muddier, and it's just we call them jackets. Right, in Chinese, it's different. They wear different jackets every time, and you don't know who's actually behind that jacket, right? So that's kind of where we are today.
So jumping, sorry, Lang, to interject, but I'm just jumping ahead. But there's like the examples of there's the Solomon GPO2, and then there's the Axis Model Works Osiris Aerial Dominator, and it seems to be like common knowledge that they are designed by the same people, but they operate under one is one Solomon brand and one is an Axis brand, and so it's a different brand, quote unquote, but
they're the same people, same manufacturers, same designers,
right?
It's just different names. It's the same, like I said, it's the same playbook. They just don't. It's a different brand every time, and when they're done, it's like a disposable brand. Yeah, it's a disposable brand. You just toss it. I'll be surprised if they come up with another one and it will be a different name.
Lang, what's your reaction to that, or do you have any follow-ups?
No, I'm just kind of stuck. Ironically, so my first love is Transformers, and I think probably around the same time it was the late 2000s, early 2010s when a lot of third-party Transformer figures were coming out. Same characters, same everything, but they only got away with, it's obvious that's an Optimus Prime. Yeah, but they call it Light of David. It's like,
sure.
No, it's Optimus Prime. Why are you naming it that? and they just don't have the Autobot or Decepticon symbols, and they get away with it. So that's why I'm always very curious on what's the percentage, how do they quantify it, and going back to the morally what should and shouldn't, you shouldn't steal other people's IPs, but man, there's some really cool designs. It's hard. So it's interesting.
I think it's one of those things it's an argument in the community, which is, do you feel bad if it's knockoff, or do you even care about it, right? And when I posted some of these articles, especially around the Solomon's article, and I've got comments, people saying why should I care? There were people that are saying very uptight about it, this is knockoff, this is wrong. First of all, I'm not going to be judging anybody. What they, it's a hobby. It's supposed to make you happy. And this is out of our hands anyways. It's not like I'm going to be able to, dictate who's making what, right? But on a personal level, I'm kind of in a way saying, looking at these like a good kid is a good kid. That's just my personal take. Everybody is has the right to hold their own opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So we wrap up this Dragon Momoko Daban War saga.
Sure.
And we're kind of moving ahead into the present. And I think there's a point, and maybe everyone's awareness of this is different, about when like we noticed that these Chinese kits were no longer just kind of being knockoffs, but were actually like legit, unique, original designs. Maybe not original in the sense that like maybe they were still Gundam looking things, or things you could definitely point to and say that's from Gundam, whatever series, but that they are actually starting to show signs of like originality, of some technical prowess, of like things that got people excited, right? So for me, the one that put me on notice was the Solomon GPO2, right? Where Bandai made their master grade GPO2, but it was from, I don't know how, 20 years ago, and it doesn't really hold up. Okay, yeah, sure. Aging myself now too, but then you look at that kit and it's like, whoa, this is like better than what I think Bandai could produce. And so can you take us down that path of like, okay, how did the industry evolve and develop?
So to dive into this, I think there's the clear path that we can talk about, which is third-party kits that are going after their original designs or semi-questionable of reference. And then there's the other path of which you mentioned about the Solomon's GPO2, which is and the upscale stuff that are popping up recently. Two different paths, and I'll focus on the first path first, and then we'll talk about the other path. So the first path, like before these third-party companies started producing these kits, you have basically two ends. You have Bandai and you have knockoffs, right? There have always been a middle where the third-party kits always existed. There have been toys that were made, and I call them toys because they weren't really that well made. They were just literally just toys. But at some point, some of the players started realizing that, hey, I can actually design my own stuff. And I'm gonna be carving out this market from the middle, in between the knockoff and the Bandai. And some of the players, some are just getting tired of playing this hide and seek game, and they just wanted to start doing things that are a little bit more legit. For example, SNAA, right? SNAA, the brand itself, the name comes from Supernova. Part of the name is Supernova. And Supernova, as Lan has talked about at the very beginning of the show, is very aware of what they are, right? But they kind of deviated themselves away from the knockoffs, officially, quote unquote. But they started producing these, original designs because they do have the talents now. And so that's when it started. Like I would say, when the store first introduced, 2022, late 2022, that's when the first wave of third-party kits with the original design started hitting. I don't know if you guys remember, there was this kit called a Zero Gravity Moonlight Judge.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So right before that, there was a judge, not a Moonlight Judge, just Judge.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a lesser known thing, but that was the start. That was the first one that shocked everybody in China, which is, oh my God, we can actually produce our own kit at a quality that's not just acceptable, but at a quality that is comparable to Bandai.
Or competitive.
It's actually competitive, and it's still cost effective, and it's not going to kill our wallet, burn a hole, and it gives you so much that Bandai doesn't give you. And at the end of the day, it still makes economic sense for the producers of that kit. That was, we'll call, maybe this is the wrong term, is the opening of the Pandora box, but that's where it really started happening. And then that's when Moonlight Judge was started the whole thing here, and people started noticing, oh, this one looks actually really cool. But there's still people that saying, oh, this is referencing from Gundam. Sure it is. We're not going to pretend that it's not. It's not taking any references from Gundam designs. There's plenty of great third-party kits that has that kind of quote-unquote influences, right? But they're trying, and that's the part that's really cool about it, is these companies are actually trying. And then, so from 2022 to now, this is when the explosion really took off, especially the last 2 years.
Yeah, it did.
The last 2 years is pretty much the height of this competition. We'll see about this year, with the how the world is evolving and how the cost structures is going up. But yeah, it's if you guys remember last year at Wonderfest in Shanghai, how many kits was actually announced?
Crazy
It was just
amounts.
one after another. I had a great month, posting social media stuff. I have an endless, amount of materials to post. It is getting to a point where they've pretty much carved out this ground right in between KO and Bandai, and now it's its own thing.
Yeah, there was a term coined on WCGA for indie groups, which I think was very proper. That they're very independent and they have these amazing designs that you never even imagined. Mm-hmm. And now, like the SNAA, oof, that's see. I know if I dip my toe in that bucket, I'm doomed, because they're so. What was it? It was
the Round Table Nights. The Iron.
It was the Round Table Nights, but what's the store? Oh my gosh, it's up in Federal Way by you, Ricky.
Tesso Life.
Thank you, Tesso.
Yeah,
they have them for $25, and they're better than real grades.
Well, they were built for competing with real grades. That's why they call it BE.
Yeah, and it looks like the RG font.
Yeah, it looks like the RG font as well. Right?
That's when it's like, not even competitive, but it's passing them up at that point. And I know myself, I'm a completionist, so I have not purchased one yet, and I know if I do, I'm doomed. So I'm
better hurry.
Not that one.
Yeah.
Don't. That's why I know you own a store, Simon. Right there.
Well, okay. Let's. I'll be honest. Take off the store owner's hat, and I'm just gonna tell you one thing: is that the third-party kits companies, they don't operate the same way as Bandai, obviously, right? But the reprints are not always guaranteed, and if ever.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're seeing something and it's at a reasonable price, I'm just saying.
Oh, you just had a question pop in my head. I got to ask now, Simon.
Sure.
Do you think that this insurgent of third-party and or indie companies with these amazing designs has influenced Bandai to do more reprints than they previously had? Because, this last year we had Turn X, amazing kits that we never thought we would have again. Or was it inevitable?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know. First of all, from what I've heard, that's what I can say is that
I want to meet these people you hear stuff from. They sound fun to chat with.
There's, Bandai does feel the pressure.
Yeah.
And they're not shy about telling people about that, especially to distributors and stuff like that. But at the same time, they're not doing much about it either, as far as I can tell. Now, the capacity, I don't know the inner workings of Bandai, but we do know a couple factories went online since a couple years ago, right?
Right.
So the capacity is going up. It was something that was expected. So is that actually pressured by the third party? I don't know. I think from especially factories don't pop up overnight. So if they popped up like 2 years ago, that means that it's being planned at least 4 or 5 years ago.
Sure.
So that was before the third party even raised to where it is today.
So
I disagree.
possible.
I just wanted to start rumors.
Yeah.
Yeah, let the rumor mill start spinning, right?
Yeah. Well, this takes me to a question that I have is we know that these kits are starting to really increase in complexity and in just how good they are. How is it that these Chinese brands are able to so competitively price their kits compared to Bandai?
So that's a tough question, actually. That's let's just put it this way. First of all, when they carve out this centerpiece in the market, they're competing with both sides, right? They feel the pressures from the knockoff market. They also feel the pressure from the Bandai's market. On one side, they cannot be more expensive than Bandai. Otherwise, it will defeat the whole purpose of this.
Right.
Right. On the other side, they don't want to be too cheap at the same level of knockoffs and carry the baggage of the knockoff reputation. So they have to strike something right in the middle.
Interesting.
So that's my take on this, and I think looking at how things are played out, it's kind of where it is. It's really struck in the middle. Even when we look at the GPO2, the Solomon's kits, and some of the upscale kits that are coming, the price is literally in the middle. They're not knockoff prices. If we were to be honest about this, let's say the upscale Xeon that was coming out, the upscale Sasabi, upscale Hainu, right? All of those.
I didn't just look at my backlog wall just now, but
but all these things, like if you look at the price, they're not necessarily knockoff cheap.
No.
Right? But they're not Bandai expensive either. So
right.
They're still right in the middle. So they're trying to struck in that middle ground.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like that Xeon, right, is like it's actually cheaper than the RG by like a little bit.
Not by
much.
much.
Interesting.
Because they're saying like it's upscale, so it uses more material, right? But at the end of the day, like if you think about how the third-party kits, even let's put knockoff out of the question, and we talk about the legitimate ones like Hemoxian's SNAA, Infinity Dimension, Infinity Era, Infinity Nova, and all that. Their prices are still cheaper than Bandai's. Because there is this expectation as well. So not only they position themselves that way, there's also the expectation from the consumers in China, the buyers. And let's be honest, the majority of them are sold in China. It's only rising here in the U.S., but 90% of them are still sold in China. So people have that kind of expectation of, okay, so you're not Bandai, you're not that premium, you're not knockoff. So, well, I'm expecting that you give me stuff that's almost on premium level, right? And you're not going to be charging me too much of it. So that's kind of expectation that people have about these kits. So that's how they price that way. And also because the rise of these different brands, they started competing within themselves. They're not necessarily competing against Bandai anymore.
No.
The center part of the market, again, there's the pie is only this big. So they're competing against each other, and call it free market. It's good, healthy competitions, and because the builders are not like I'm not buying a figurine and just leave it on a shelf and call it a day. I'm actually building it, and majority of the builders, I call them terminal OCD, right? So. I suffer from that as well. So when your target audience or your potential buyers are this group of people, you can't fool them around in a sense, right? So the competition, as heated as it gets, the quality doesn't suffer, but there are certain expectations. The third-party kits must come with display base. They have to come with water slide decals, no stickers. People hate stickers. And then it has to come with special effects parts. And it has to come with clear parts. I challenge people like, have you seen a single third-party kit so far without a clear parts? They all do.
Wait.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so a lot of the market expectation sets the quality and the price is your main argument.
Yeah,
there.
and the competition really helps drive the price down. And at the end of the day, it's the consumers, it's us, the builders actually benefits from it.
Yeah, big time.
Sure.
Yeah, and I feel the last year, which one is the one that's, is it Mosho? That's doing all the different godlike Chinese warriors. Who is that?
Motor Nuclear.
Thank you, Moto Nuclear. They specialize in those. Those are. I was actually looking at those. I wasn't late night shopping at all. But they specialize in those, and then they only have one that's not that aesthetic. So it's almost like a lot of them have stuck to certain aesthetics, but then maybe they have one or two kits that are different aesthetics.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So Motor Nuclear, it's a very interesting brand to talk about. Is that they actually own their own IP, and that's probably one of the only manufacturers so far that actually owns an IP beyond just simple designs.
Interesting.
The Legend of Star General is actually a manga. I don't want to use the term manga because it's called differently in China. It's called a manhua, but essentially it's the same thing. But they have that series running for years now, and it's a good series. If you for those people that are listening to this, if you haven't really read that, I highly encourage you to give it a try. It's a good story to read. It's a good comic, manga, manhua, whatever you want to call it. It's a good series to read through. And the mechas that they're releasing, these are Legend of the Gods based on historical figures or mythical figures. Yeah. But they are straight out from that manga. So they do have the IP backing it, and they've actually said that since a year ago, 2 years ago, they said they're going to be releasing an animated series of this Legend of Star General. Now it's being pushed to 2027. We'll see.
That's really cool.
Me.
Yeah. So they're building a level of legitimacy through their IP and through having their manhwa and their animated series, much like Gundam has this legitimacy from their plastic model kits with the anime. Right?
You can call that IP ceiling, right? In a way, which is if you look at Motor Nuclear's pricing, it's slightly different than the other brands.
For sure.
Some of the stuff tends to be a little bit more pricier, and that's because if you compare it to Bandai as well, some Bandai's pricing models, has a lot of the IP that they the investment built into it. Same thing with Motor Nuclear; they want to do the same thing, which I'm a big support of that, and I think it's a very great move that they're doing. I hope. All the other brands do, like, for example, SNA8, the Roundtable Nights. I hope that they actually complete a story out of it.
Oh my gosh, give me the cartoon. Give me the cartoon now.
I've been complaining to them all the time. Like, every time I talk to the people from their manufacturer, I'm like, when are you guys going to actually, create a manga or something out of it? They're like, we're working on it. That's all they can tell me.
Well, you heard it here first then. Yeah. Another brand, so we talked about Motor Nuclear. We talked a little bit about SNAA, which are big players now. Homoxian is another one, right? Maybe some Americans might call it Homoxian as like a misnomer.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. So, it's got a fun name that maybe you can explain the story of. But one of the interesting things I've learned about Homoxian, or just one of the things that make it really interesting, is that it is actually building IP from the West. So, like, I've got Arkham Knight back here, which is like a Batman property, right? And then there's other companies
Simon, don't you tease. Don't you tease. You were reaching for it.
All right. See, Simon's the one who talked me into buying that too. But yeah, so can you speak about that brand a little bit? What sets them apart? Yeah.
So that's a perfect brand to bring up. So Homoxian, I actually wrote an article about this as well, is The owner of Homotion is actually the founder of Dragon Momoko. Same guy.
The plot twist for Lang.
Oh my gosh.
So when Homotion actually first showed up, and they released this thing called the Legend of Thor. Remember that?
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that's essentially the first one that they kind of officially released. When it first released, people were like, "Who the hell are they?" Right? Yeah. Now, we knew. Some of us already knew because rumors passes around. But then someone actually in China, it's amongst the communities on the forums, started digging up on this brand, and they're like, "Wait a minute, the manufacturer's address is the same as Dragon Momoko. It's the same damn building."
So are these just like these are doodles while he was in prison, kind of a thing? Like,
so the guy Li Haiyan, which is the founder of Dragon Momoko, he is considered to be the legend, and he is still considered as the legend today in the community in China. Whether it's amongst all the manufacturers or amongst all the communities, he is still being held as the god because he has designed so many things, and his team as well he has all these blueprints already made before Dragon Momoko fell. He had all these things planned, but those things were not destroyed because they had nothing to do with Bandai.
There's not to drop any other stores because there isn't any stores before LAScalemodels. However, on Gundam, there's a huge pages of all these drawings and sketches and prototypes for Homotion. Did I say it right? And I'm baffled in what they're hoping to release in the coming years.
I can't tell you, but yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of interesting stuff that's coming. Now, if you look at the thing that they just recently announced, is that Rusted Briar, if I'm actually pronouncing it right. It's that I call it waifu kit, right?
The plain girl, right?
The plain girl, that's right.
Yeah.
So you guys know who ATK girls are, right? This is actually a different company. They're called Eastern Model, and they make ATK Girl series.
Okay, because I'm familiar with Eastern because they do a lot of Iron Man models.
They do too.
I know that from Marvel, yeah.
They do too, and those are officially licensed, by the way.
Right.
One time only. A lot of them are one-time licensed, but they are official. But Eastern Model, ATK Girl, it's a pretty famous line. How much of that drawing is from Li Haiyan is very questionable. So, and I think, did I write that in the article? But it's something that you can actually trace it down. His wife is actually part of the Eastern Model, and they ran that while he was in prison. But anyways, so going back to Homotion, after he got released from prison, and that's what he does, and that's what he does the best. And people around him are basically legendary builders. These are the people in Chinese community. They're called the Club of Guangdong. Guangdong is the province. It's essentially people that are from that region. There's a few cities that are known for building crazy cool kits. Like they're able to modify kits, and that's where all the garage kits come from. All the crazy builds that goes for the competitions and all that, and wins all the awards and all that. It's very deep rooted, and all these people that have all these skills built, all these time, and people that are surrounding this guy are the same type of people. They are die-hard builders. They have years of experiences, and then they have these designs on hand. And so if you look at Homotion, like, after he came out of the prison, they're just ready to go.
Yeah.
And he made a promise that he will never touch knockoff again. So the name Homotion is rumored, that it's never confirmed by him, is make peace with model kits.
It's a kind of a double entendre.
Interesting.
Though, right? Because
Exactly.
it also means like combine two pieces or seam.
Combine two pieces together, and it's the seam line. The pronunciation is also the seam line essentially. So, but it's not written the same way. So it's rumored as that he's making peace with the model kits.
I'm even more of a fanboy of that brand.
It's very fascinating. But anyways, He Mo-xian, like as he promised, since the start, he has not made any releases with anything that has anything to do with Bandai or Gundam stuff, even though he's a diehard fan of it as well.
Well, isn't... Hang on, Simon.
Sure.
Isn't he doing a couple of mecha bricks?
But those are officially licensed, though.
Right. Okay. So he's got those. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not. He's partnershipping. So cool. He's licensed. He's not. What he's saying is he doesn't want to do any knockoffs.
Okay.
He's deviating away from it completely. He's like, hands clean. I don't want to touch this anymore. And so if you look at all the releases that he has done, as far as recently the Batman series, like it's a one-time license, but he got the license and he got it produced.
So proper.
It's a limited run, and if you look at the Over Zero series, which is amazing, you got the Tastier, right? You got the Lone Shadow, right? And also the Baki. Baki looks amazing as well.
I am so giddy to build mine. Mine's just sitting at the top of the stack.
Did you get the accessory pack as well?
I don't think so. I just really wanted the cape.
It should come with 2 boxes. There's a smaller box that has the arms.
It's a big box. I got the big box.
And then you probably need the accessories.
Don't say need. Don't say need.
Well, one of the things that you wrote about, and Lang, I'm sure you'll check this out when you start building them, but like they have this technology where the muscle, like the plastic, bends in the way that like. So
I built one up at Model Mania when I was sitting behind the table. I built the Lone Shadow. And every limb, every thing that I started putting together, when I saw that bendable plastic, I was just like, oh no, this isn't going to fit. This is going to pop off. Something's going to happen. Nope. Seamlessly, wonderfully. The playability, just snapping it, I'm going to say it's the best playability straight out of the box. By far. In my opinion. Send your comments to LAScalemodels, please.
Yeah, they look amazing, just from the pictures and everything too. So, you mentioned this club of Guangdong, right? And you recently wrote an article about the Sky Defender.
Yes.
And there's that the connection there with like Yujiao Land and a lot of like these resin conversion kits? Is there a relationship there?
Yes, there is. So resin conversion kits, it's I would like to call it, like this is my personal way of calling it, is the deep end of the hobby.
Yeah.
Right. So if you keep on going, opening a door every step along the way, painting, kit bashing, eventually you're gonna get to the GK. It's gonna be there, waiting for you. But there's a lot of studios that produces GK, and I know actually a couple of them, and there's actually used to be a studio here in LA, by the way. Just throwing it out there. But anyways, there's these garage kit conversion, the GK studio. These are more or less the same people that are the Club of Guangdong, and also the people that are actually making a lot of designs today for these third-party kits. Sky Defender is a huge. It's a simple way of saying like this is where it came from, because it's literally printed on their material, like they are from Yujiao Land, right? But Yujiao Land is actually a very well-known GK studio. Now Infinity Dimension, on the other hand, also part of their design team is from Yujiao Land. Yujiao Land. And some of them actually came from another studio as well. So they all have this GK background. And for those listeners that don't know what GK is, this is like I said, it's the deep end of the hobby. This is where people actually make crazy conversion kits that actually turn kits into something that's absolutely amazing looking. But it will require hundreds of hours of work, and it's a lot. It's hard. And not.
It's from scratch.
Almost, right?
Yeah.
Some of them you need to buy like a PG frame, and then like all the pieces get replaced.
No,
with,
but
like,
they
resin,
make.
right?
But they
How do they make the GK kits?
Yeah, other than getting it from scratch and like
That will
printing it themselves.
be. I mean, we can't go down this rabbit hole.
Oh boy.
Or I can just give you a gist of it. But essentially, what it is that they will buy the normal kit, and they will tackle on like the styrene sheets, and they use putty, and then they will design the lines and all that, the panel lines and all that, and then they complete it, not paint it, but complete it, and then and then mold.
They do like
it.
a reverse mold. Yeah.
Then they do a mold. They use silicone molds, and the process is is pretty straightforward. You make the silicone molds, and then you suck out all the bubbles and all that, right? And
you strive to.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, there's ways to do it, but eventually, then you fill in with the resin and let it cure, and then you throw away all the equipments because they're dead poison. They're essentially they're very poisonous. You throw away everything that you use, including your gloves and everything. Burn them if you will. Then, but don't get near them. And then you start making copies of them out of the resin. And I've got approached by people saying like, asking me like, why are GK kits so expensive? And let's say for example, I actually have the Yuzhou Land MG Zaku 2, the GK kit. It's still sitting in my backlog. I haven't touched it yet. If you open it up, there's not that many pieces really. It's not like you're getting a complete kit out of it. It expects you to have that MG kit, and it's replacing some of the parts, right? But then I've got people asking me like, there's only so many parts. How come it costs so much? Well, those molds that they're making, they're pretty crude.
Yeah.
I've seen them before, and they only last like what, 20 to at most 50 copies.
Wow.
Before it's, because you have to yank it open, it stretches, and the panel lines and everything just kind of start blurring out. So then they have to remold and all that. So the process is very crude.
Is it the same availability in China like you were mentioning with pop-up stores with third parties that they just come quickly and then they're gone?
The GKs?
Yeah.
Not exactly.
Okay.
Not exactly.
Because of the deep-endedness of it?
Right. And also they are kind of hitting the gray area, which is they're making modifications to an existing kit, but they're not actually selling the kit. They're selling parts of their imaginations.
Oh, okay.
So they're not going to get in trouble for any of the stuff that they're doing, at least in China.
Well, see, that's interesting now because we are now seeing more and more plastic model kits of resin conversions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. The farmer creation one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
what's your take on that, and what's happening there?
Yeah, you're opening up another rabbit hole. So, I mean, GK is a little bit far reached for most of the builders. Truth to be told, right?
Absolutely.
So, kind of lowering that down a little bit for people to have access to, I wouldn't say the same level of detail, but close enough.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing for people. And if that pushes, whether it's the third-party kits or Bandai, to really focus on the details, I think overall it's a good thing.
Is there a relationship to the original designers when those plastic kits get made, or is there some shady situation going on there?
Please read my upcoming articles. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, this is kind of one of those questions I get asked from comments on my posts. Is like, why should I care about this? I love the drama behind it as well. As much as I love building it, knowing some of the dramas, it's fun. So yes, it's another rabbit hole when it comes to converting the GK kits into injection molds. I have articles already in the pipeline to talk about those.
All right, I'm looking forward. You can just leave it at that. We're gonna make everybody go to the website, check out the blog, because it is really
so
incredible.
Good.
They're
fun.
What do you think things will look like 10 years from now, or even 5 years from now, given the rate at how quickly these things are, this is happening? Like, what does the future look like to you?
I think if we're talking about short term, 5 years, I think things are going to be relatively the same. I mean, the third party kits are still going to be keeping on pushing on the boundary. The Homotion is also going to be pushing the boundaries of what's possible with injection molds and all that, and having different ways of you guys saw like recently the Colada. You guys know the Kenshin Colada kit. It's still on pre-order on LAScalemodel.com, but
that crazy
it's coming.
Thing with the halo and
yeah.
Right.
So the design looks great, but one of the things that's really cool is that they have this breakaway pieces for the joints. I wrote that in one of the articles. So some of the parts through injection molds, if they're too small, you can't really inject them, and expect to have no shrinkage and have the same sizes. So what they did is they print bigger parts, and then when they put it in, and there's this breakaway handle, you break the other part off. So, anyways, it's a very interesting design. So, I think in 5 years, they're just going to be pushing more and more to the far end of the, what is possible with, with these injection molds. As for, if we start looking beyond 5 year term, I think at some point, these third party kits manufacturers are going to start producing original IPs, or at least someone's going to start doing it. Because I personally, the way I see it is the competition between them is going to get heated to the point where the differentiator between them are not going to be so great anymore. And at some point, they need to be able to attract customers, not purely because it's cheaper, it's giving them more. Or just simply look cool. They need to have customer bases that actually say, I love this, I'm building this because I love the character.
Yep.
I like that.
Because I think to kind of piggyback off that, I think a lot of IP is losing its nostalgia energy. Except for Tekkaman, of course, that will be eternal. But some of them like that. They've aged not so great, and I think the next generation will probably want something to cling on to like that, whether it's because the majority of Gundam itself, like I said, for me, it's Transformers, Tekkaman, or any of these from 90s or early 2000s. Yes, they're trying to do kits now to re-energize that, but they need something new.
I mean, Bandai themselves, like when I was at the original author of Gundam, actually said that this might be the end of the Gundam or something like that. Recently, he said something like that. I don't agree, but at the same time, like what Lang is saying, that some of the IPs are, the customer base is only going to get older.
Yeah.
The younger generations, if you don't have a hook for them, they're not going to come in. You can't bring the 1979 show and 1979 quality to a Gen Z and tell them like, get hooked on this. It's just going to be hard. I'm not saying like people don't get hooked. There are plenty of people that get hooked on it. Yeah. But if you're not doing anything about it and making youth shows, creating this hook, the necessary hook, it's very hard to keep on maintaining on this.
Right. I think that's true, and I think the vast majority of us, like builders, maybe in America, I would argue, our entry point into third-party kit is still Gundam, is still Bandai's IP.
Yes.
Right, but for them to then take their own IP and have a new generation build a relationship to that IP as a way of driving sales, I think that makes a lot of sense.
I think every brand has that dream.
Sure.
Right. You look at Homotion's Over Zero. It's a series. It's a series, right? But they just haven't backed it up with storylines or anything like that. But
they have a thematic design.
The platform is there.
Relationship, yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you look at Bandai, they have 40, 50 years ahead of them, a head start, and the IP's been building all these years, right? So playing catch up against a monster size like that is not going to be easy, but but it's not off the table.
And we've just learned that Gundam is actually their most valuable intellectual property, currently, Bandai, right? What do you think happens to Bandai down the line?
Honestly, I'm not sure. Like that's a good question. With Bandai, the Gundam series when it first started, like the intention was to sell toys. And it's not even a secret, right? And I think it's going to be like that. And I think Bandai is just gonna keep on trying, because that's their bread and butter. I hope at some point that Bandai will go talk to some of these third-party companies and partner with them and do something about it. That's my hope.
Right, because I think there's the IP Gundam, right, where Bandai is always trying to build that connection to the anime. But like, do they have the technical know-how to compete with some of these Chinese kits now that like clearly the technology is kind of gotten away from them a little bit?
I think they do. Okay. I think deep down they do. I don't think it's out of reach for them at all. I mean, if you look at the Bandai was the one that came out with 3 different colors on the same runner, right? They were the one that came out with if you guys remember, the RG Epion, the tail had all the mechanics already pre-injected, right? So I'm sure Bandai's got some secret stuff stashed away that are just gonna shock the world when they come out. And for the stuff that they're making for the third-party kids, I'm sure Bandai's looking at them like, oh yeah, we can do that, but not this batch probably. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to speculate exactly what they're doing, but I don't think it's out of reach. Bandai at the size of what they are, the amount of money that they have. But at the end of the day, I think the third-party kids, they are making enough noise, and I really hope one day Bandai will go to China and then just talk to someone and then do some kind of collaboration. That will be the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Absolutely. For people who are interested in third-party models or Chinese models but haven't gotten their start, are there any favorites that you have that you would recommend to a beginner, or just some of your favorite kits in general?
So for anyone that are just starting, and let's say they've built some Bandai kits before, right? I would say SNAA's Roundtable Nights is a great place to start. It's not huge. It's not too time consuming. But for people who have built and they're expecting something more, I would say give Infinity Dimension or the Infinity Nova a try. I would say this one of my favorite kits. I built 2 of them from third party. One is the Infinity Nova Aurora, the In-Error Plus Aurora. That's even though the instruction manual has 1 error in there, but still, it was a fun build. It was a very fun build. It has the metal inner frame, and the overall build experience was great. So this is for someone who come from who has built like say Verka before, and this is a perfect segue for that. Now, the other kit that I really like is the Motor Nuclear, the trainee kit, the Wei Yuanshi trainee kit, that green one. That one, I actually did a commission build for him and turned it into a Dark Force Ninja. But it is one of those kits that are well considered as the god of conversion or whatever. Maybe the translation is not right. It's just really easy to convert it into whatever you want. The build experience for that was also super smooth. And for people who dislike stickers and stuff like that, give Motor Nuclear a try. And, maybe not start with Jawing or something like that. That's too big of a challenge to start with. Start with the training kit, and it's cheap, and it's well made. And that will be kind of my suggestion. 核膜线, obviously, like if you are really into more humanoid looking kits, that will be a very good place to start. But yeah, so that's kind of my answer to that.
Yeah, no, those are great recommendations. Absolutely. Lang, any last thoughts before we kind of wrap things up?
I feel like I was at a campfire and had one of the best stories. I'm sorry, this was a lot of fun. Thank you, Simon. That's my biggest thought.
I had a lot of fun too.
No, I really want to go track down this club in China and just stand there like a complete buffoon from the U.S. Just like you guys are so cool. I just want to watch. No, third party. I think I'm excited for third party stuff. I have not done a custom third-party kit other than a garage kit. I have done that. So and that's the funny thing with third-party, they're already so nice. I don't see the point of customizing them too much more. So that's where I'm at in my build, era. But probably down the line, some of the customs that they come out with, there's Bandai and then you customize. Third parties are already above on their standards, like we were saying with the bases, with the water slide decals. Some of them have LEDs. And then you customize on top of that. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I am more excited to dig into some of the third-party kits that I have, and I already know there's a couple down the pipe that I'm just waiting to click add to cart. They're not here yet, but they're getting close. Is Simon, is there one kit that you're really looking forward to the most that hasn't come out yet?
That hasn't come out yet. It's a good question. There's stuff that I can't say.
Oh, come on!
Killing me.
But the one that I really look forward to, that it's already out, but it's not out here yet, is the Orange Cat Industry, the Leviton from the ARX8. That is the one that I'm really looking forward to. I'm a huge fan of Full Metal Panic. I was on vacation last month, by the way, and I actually went to Guangzhou, I went to Shenzhen, I went to the stores, and I got, I got a first glance and touched the kit, the Orange Cat Industry kit, and I saw the complete build of it. I was like, this is something I must have. This is must have to.
Which one was it?
The Leviton, the
Full Metal Panic.
The Full Metal Panic one.
I'll send you a link. I got it.
Yeah.
It's funny. CD, shout out to CD. He literally just sent me a link to that kit today.
Nice.
So yeah, that's perfect.
This one is actually officially licensed. So it's not knockoff or anything like that, or unlicensed. So when they did this, the one that I appreciate this kit the most is that because it's officially licensed, they didn't over design the outer armors. They they kept it to the original as much as possible. But when you take the armors off and look at the inner frame, that's when things gets crazy.
I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
Exciting. That's great. And of course, where can people buy all these amazing third-party kits, Simon?
LAScalemodel.com. We do a lot of pre-orders for upcoming third-party kits. Now, I do want to mention a couple things here. Now that I'm getting this chance, is that we don't carry every single third-party kits. I usually wait for the reviews come out, and I talk to the manufacturers and talk to people in China. Make sure that the capacity is going to be there. B, the company is legit enough. C is the kit itself is worth it. Like, it's not ugly. The scale is not out of proportion. There are kits, like I said, like the stuff that I don't want to show you guys is like there are stuff that they're releasing, and I'm like sitting there looking at a picture, talking to the guys in China, like, why does that foot look so huge, right? Like, this is out of whack. I don't want to sell something I don't like. That's kind of kind of how I decide like what actually goes onto the pipeline. So we do vet everything before we put them on pre-order. That's
awesome. Yeah, thanks for giving us that kind of shop owner's perspective on the kits as well. Yeah, much appreciated. Yeah, I've been on the edge of my seat this entire conversation. It has been such a blast. Thank you for bringing sort of that language barrier and the wall down between us builders here in the West, and then all the amazing things that are happening in China right now. So I, again, really appreciate your time. And thank you again so much. It's been an absolute blast. And Lang, thank you again too for just jumping on and sharing your insight. And it's been fun, man. It's been really fun. So
my pleasure.
Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for providing the platform, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hope everyone shares this and likes and subscribes and all that good stuff. Before we go, we always give our guests some quick hitter questions.
Sure.
And we didn't talk about a specific build of yours, which is usually how our format goes, but I think a lot of these would be fun for you to answer anyway. So Simon, what is your all-time favorite kit that you've built?
I'll have to say it's the RG 2.0. That one I actually had a lot of fun with. I actually I changed the color into a G3 color that's before Bandai actually did their premium Bandai version. Disclaimers. So I actually had the water slide decals actually custom made in China and sent it over before and all that. So.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah.
Wow.
I sold mine to get a fat cat, so appropriate to this episode.
Nice.
Good for you for getting your hands on one of those. It's hard to find.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a little bit easier now, but back then it was a little harder. Yeah.
Simon, what does your backlog look like? Numbers, capacity. Describe your backlog to us.
So the backlog is at a point where I probably can build until, the end of my retirement. Let's just put it that way.
Nice.
The variety goes all over the places. I got the Tamiya F35. I got the Hasegawa F16. F15, right?
Nice.
And I got the Tamiya tanks and all that lined up, and
all
the
right.
cars, and then there's all the Bandai stuff.
Yeah.
I came back from Japan and I got one more for my backlog
nice.
I love the taxis that was running around on the street. I was like, I gotta have this.
That's awesome.
Perfect souvenir.
Very cool.
All right. Would you prefer a single 1,000 piece kit or 10 100 piece kits?
10 100 piece kits.
Okay.
I know this is gonna be a shocker, because when I was thinking about it, it's like a 1,000 piece, it will suck a lot of time into like a lot of preparations, and it's gonna be a very hard grind. And I hate to use the word grind, but when your parts actually exceed a certain amount, and if you want to do painting and all that, it will be fun. You break out into sessions, but at some point, it will become a grind.
Yep.
So I tend to like to have that's why I kind of like to build like 1x144 kits more than a 1x100. To be honest, is because I can get those done and customize the color. In a week, 2 weeks, and I'm done, and I can move on to the next one, and then here's a new thing that I can work on, right?
Nice.
That's just me,
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Lang, what's your answer to that question?
Oh, don't get. Probably the same thing. I like the 10 100 piece just to be able to keep going and keep pumping them out a little bit faster.
You don't want to get bogged down by one build for too long or whatever.
It's not even the too long. I get way just too critical of myself when I was really preoccupying myself with some of the IPMS or Gundam competitions. I come out of it, and it's even hard for me to be like, oh, done. Like I've built myself up and grinded it so hard that I was wound up. That's a good way to phrase it. Wound up pretty hard. So I like the 10 100 piece for me as well.
All right.
Simon.
Yep.
What's the grill kit you have that you have or that you're hoping for?
The grill kit. That's a good question. So the grill kit I have right now is the Hasegawa 1x4000 SDF1 Macross.
Yes! Very cool.
They have two of them. I have one of them with I can't pronounce this properly, Prometheus and Daedalus. So if you look it up, they made two versions of it. One of them is without, the other one is with. So I have the one with. And it's a much older kit. So that's my grill kit for
on hand
for mechas, and my other grill kit is for cars is the British bus.
Nice.
I have a double decker bus.
Double decker?
Yeah, I have a double decker. Nice. I haven't built it yet, so it's just sitting there.
That'll be fun.
I'd love to see that as a build.
Yeah, great answers. If a company made a special edition color with your name on it, what would you want that color to be?
Blue.
Do you want to get a little more like the blue, like the shirt you're wearing?
I was gonna say we're kind of getting blue vibes
I think
already.
it's a pretty odd. Blue is actually one of my favorite colors. I would say, if you guys remember, I guess you don't even have to go back that far. Like if you look at the Lizard alteration color, the polar shark.
Yep.
That's the color I like.
Nice.
So
Okay,
it's a lot of white and some blue touch up.
I wasn't shopping that on your homepage while we were talking. No, I don't know what you're talking about. What's the oldest kit in your backlog, or the kit in your backlog that you love that you can't bring yourself to build?
The oldest one that I have is a vintage Tamiya Bug, Volkswagen Bug.
Nice.
The one that I cannot bring myself to build is that Hasegawa Fortress.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, no way.
The grills will do that. Yeah.
I will murder it if I do it. Like I don't want to do it.
If you said it's 4,000. So do you know what's the actual height on it? Do you know?
It's not about the height. It's wide.
Is it?
It's wide. I mean, you can display it as it stands, but I like it
in transform mode, right? Or is it only in the ship mode?
I think this one doesn't transform.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's only in ship mode. So it's quite big.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do with your boxes when you're done with the kit, and what do you do with your extra pieces?
Actually, I'll show you. One sec.
Great.
He uses him to ship all this stuff out for his customers.
Yeah, right. I've been cutting my boxes flat. Like I throw away the bottom and I just keep the artwork.
Yep.
What about you?
I do too. All of mine are in what people lovingly call Tupperware jail.
So for the boxes, when I'm done, I basically keep the instruction manuals.
Yep.
But I will cut out the box art.
Yep.
And then just keep the box art and throw the rest of them away. The runners, I will cut off the. So this is actually a car that I built recently, a Subaru. But after I'm done, I keep the water slide decals and all the extra parts, and I just this one I didn't label because it's a little bit obvious. But usually I label them, but then just keep them in a Ziploc bag. And I have a stash of them.
Great.
But I don't keep the empty runners anymore. I used to do, but eventually I
don't need what's the point? Yeah. Or some people like to use it to do modification, like
that's what I thought I was gonna do, and then I eventually like I have way too many of them. You know?
I think it's kind of amazing we're all on the same page because I too just keep the artwork, and then the actual build kits. If I've just snapped them, I got Target has great Tupperware kind of shoebox size containers that I have them all divided up for UC, 00, off-brand,
I see.
Star Wars box
categorized like that.
That they're just built, so they're in built prison until I get around to them. So, it saves a lot of space.
The extra parts that I keep in little Ziploc bags, I've actually had fairly recently when I was building a kit, and I was like, I needed an extra part because I broke one or I lost one, I can't remember, but I dug through and I found something that was similar enough that I can just sand it off a little bit and it fits.
Nice.
That justifies the entire rest of the pile, right?
Yes,
Just
we won't talk about my spare parts. That'll be a different episode.
Yeah.
Nice. What's your building pet peeve?
The thing that I hate building the most is hands.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
I absolutely hate building hands. I don't necessarily follow the instruction at exactly how the flow is supposed to go, but you will always see me like finish the build with no hands, and I dread through that for like a couple of days, and I'm like, screw it, I'll finish it. I hate building hands. I don't know why.
I feel that.
Interesting. What's your favorite part of the building process?
Painting.
Nice.
Especially masking.
Oh, okay. I like that. That's a good answer.
Putting on the masking or taking it off?
Both.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You either love it or you hate it, right? I think that's.
I think being able to mask off something and then paint it, especially something that's a part that has a detail on it, right? And it's not two parts, right? And then you have to figure out a very creative way to mask it.
Yep.
It's satisfying. Yeah. I mean, peeling off is always going to be satisfying no matter what, but
yes.
But there's also
unless it looks bad.
Yeah, unless you pull it off, you're like, oh, it leaked through. You're like, damn it, start over again.
Yeah, I think for me, like with the masking, it's the most intimidating part, but it puts me in the flow state the best, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Like when I'm actually doing it, I get in a flow that like other parts of the process don't really do for me. Well, Lang, what about you? What's your favorite part of the process?
If I had to pick any, it's either sanding after the scribe lines and they just fill up and it almost like shifts in contrast. It goes from the dark line to then it fills up with white. Something about that, I love that. And then also just the assembly of like all the effort all of a sudden just hit top speed of you're right at the finish line and you're sprinting now because all I got to do is snap it back together.
Nice. Yeah.
Those two.
Those are very good, very specific
scares
answers.
Me very much. I don't know why. Like, I do know why. Like, especially after I paint, and then when I'm about to get to the finish line, that's when Sorry, I'm not gonna. That's why I screw up. This is when I end up scratching paint off.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes, you feel me, right? Like,
yeah, I know, I do. I know, in fact, I can remember, you can go visit. I have a kit that's on display down at Robots for Less down in Buena Park. That I think, and going back to your hatred for hands, I think I had the same hatred because I think I painted them each different colors. And I got to the point, and I'm just like, I'm at the complete end, and they're opposites, and I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. That's my mark. That's the.
It'll be the lesson for the next build.
Yeah, and I usually have one little thing that's like it's not symmetrical, or I put the decal not as symmetrical, but it's kind of obvious. But they're like, "Why'd you do it like that?" Oh, I'm being artistic. No, you're not. I screwed up. Like it's something like that. I'm like, no, I'll just keep it. We're good.
Cool.
So if we ask you the question on the least favorite part, would that be it? That's your answer at the very end?
Yes.
Okay.
And final assembly.
Final assembly. I don't think it's the least favorite part. It scares me the most.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that out of every build, I would say the part that teaches me the most is always the final assembly part. Because that's when I realized that something I should have done to prevent something happening at the end. And it's already too late.
Yep.
Like, like you paint the hand and then you accidentally paint the joint and then you put it in and then you're like, it should be a different color. Then you're like, now I can't pull it out because the paint is thick enough. It's stuck in there.
Say it, preach it, Simon, preach it. Because we all can fix it. We all can fix it. But you're like, you're
you know
not
how many
thinking
times I
that?
pulled the hand out and the hand is out and the joint is still in there? Now you gotta have to dig it out with the paint around it that you don't want to destroy.
Let's take a road trip out and see that group out in China. Say, okay, how do you fix your hands?
There you go. Yeah.
Teach us.
Get some advice. Maybe they hate it as much as we do. Who knows?
Probably.
Oh my gosh, that would make my day.
That would make my day, exactly.
You guys are human. Sorry. You're up.
Yes. Do you have a unsung hero on your workbench, like a tool that you think, not many people might be aware of that you really appreciate?
The one thing is the I showed you earlier, which is the poster putty. I've told people about this many times. My wife thinks it's just a big ass piece of booger that's on my table.
Right.
Because I reuse them. They're reusable,
Yeah.
Sure.
So they end up being very dirty. So she thinks it's a big ass booger. But they're great because I use them to do a lot of things. Like, for example, for dry building, holding pieces together, fixing loose ball joints.
Mine is ancient and way too dirty. I should not have that on camera.
Mine is brownish, the one that I have. That's why she thinks it's a big ass piece of booger.
Right. It was blue at one point in its life, but not anymore.
And I also use it for masking, for all shapes, and so it's very versatile. That's one. The other one that I don't talk about a lot is blue stuff. Maybe this is a lesser known thing, but if you go to Amazon, you search for blue stuff. It's essentially a meltable rubber. You just put it in hot water and it will soften up enough that you can use it to create simple molds.
Nice.
And then that's how I copy a lot of the parts. Funny story, like I learned how to do this because I lost one of the MGSD Barbados eyes when I was building. I couldn't find it anymore. Like it just jumped off and then off to the void.
Yeah.
So I ended up, learning how to do this and using UV resin and also blue stuff. And I created my own set of eyes for my MGSD Barbados. And about 2 weeks ago, I was cleaning up and I found the eyes.
Yep.
Of course.
It is the most satisfying thing. Like, oh, I found it. And like, damn it.
Yep. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Good answers.
So when you're not losing the pieces and you're in your zone building, what do you usually find yourself watching or listening to while you build?
So I'm actually a musician as well, by the way.
Nice.
I actually do. I'm a guitar session player. So a lot of times when I'm building, I listen to jazz.
Nice.
That's one thing, and sometimes like actually it's like jazz I do listen to a lot when I'm building. It calms me down. But the other thing that I do a lot is I actually rewatch animes. Not new episodes. Stuff that I can literally just not look at the screen and recite the words.
Yep.
Like I probably will rewatch some of the stuff, like for example, Full Metal Panic, and also Tekkaman. I don't know how many times I've watched them.
Nice. All right.
And it just doesn't get old.
Lang, I found you a new best friend, man. Aren't you happy you were here?
Dude, I'm going down there in September. We're gonna hang. We're good.
Is there one builder that you think deserves more attention, is way better than maybe their follower count or their notoriety?
That one I don't have an answer to. I think every builder deserves to be noticed, and I really don't want to. While I admire a lot of the higher end builds, I think at the end of the day it's a hobby, and coming from a store owner, as and also a builder myself, I tell people that if this becomes a chore for you, you need to stop. It needs to be fun, and when you build something and people are criticizing you and they're bashing you, ignore them, because at the end of the day, it's not just the finished piece that made you happy. It's the build experience. That's why I don't carry action figures. Everything that I carry are in model kits, because I'm selling an experience, and I want to share that experience with people. So whether you make a piece that is a master build, or you made a piece that compared to some of the masters, it's no but you have fun, you learn something from it, and it makes me want to build more. So I think everybody deserves that kind of encouragement.
All right, hey, that's a great answer.
Well put, man. Well put.
Absolutely.
I know you don't want to give, specific one, but we need to know, who would you like to hear from in a future podcast episode?
Who would I like to hear from?
Who are your secret contacts? Come on, I want to hear from them.
If I could actually bring one of those guys from
oh my gosh,
from those manufacturers, that would be great.
Well, so normally when I ask people this question, I say you have to try to help me get them on. So you can keep that in mind when you answer.
We'll see about that, because I do. I don't have a specific name, but like I said, if I can get one of the guy that is from the club on the show, that would be awesome.
That would be incredible.
Yeah,
I stopped breathing for a second. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would be.
The guy that I had lunch with today, like if I can bring him to the show, he will be able to tell you so much more than I can.
If he if you reach out to him,
why are you teasing us like this, Simon? You're building this up so much. You're committing yourself, man.
I'm all for it. Hey, but yeah, I won't hold you to it. It's okay.
So
good. What's something that you would want to hear a customer say about LAScalemodel?
He helped me with that build.
There's really nothing more satisfying than helping a fellow builder. I think
it's satisfying for me.
Absolutely.
Just put it that way.
That's the whole reason why I do this show. Really, is just because I want to learn and because I want to help other people learn too. And so I'm glad that we're all in the same mindset for sure.
Yeah, same. Likewise.
Well, that was the last question.
Okay. All right, I made
thank you for hanging out with us.
You passed.
Yeah, that's right. Lang, what's the prize?
Shoot. The next Fanpla freebie. I'll get something up for you. We'll get there.
Man,
it's in progress.
I've got a couple trips to LA planned at some point. I will definitely hit you up. Would love to meet up and check out the shop or whatever if you're willing to have us. So. But
we don't have a shop right now. This is the warehouse, by the way, so we don't actually have a physical shop. It's online only. But like we said before the recording started, that it's and also I said it during the show, like it's a goal. It's a goal that I will reach eventually. I know I will, but it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, well, we're rooting for you. We'll
thank you.
Support you in any way that we can. And yeah, thank you again for just sharing so much of your knowledge with us and your insight and your experience with third-party kits and beyond. It's been a real blast. Absolutely. And Lang, thank you again too for jumping on. It's been a lot of fun.
Glad to assist when I get to learn these fun stories anytime.
Thank you guys for giving me this platform and having me here. I had a blast talking to you guys. This is a really wonderful experience. I enjoyed it, and I'd love to do it again.
Absolutely. We'll try to make it happen for sure. And that is our episode. Big thank you again to Simon for sharing his knowledge with us. Please check out LAScalemodel.com and read all the amazing articles that Simon's written and the amazing kits he's got available on the site as well. Big thank you also to Lang for being such an awesome co-host. What do you think? What surprised you about this episode? Are you ride or die Bandai, or do you have no problem buying knockoffs? Which third-party kits have you built? Or which ones are you most excited about? Let us know in the comments below. I also want to shout out our sponsor, Splash Paints. Check out splash-paints.com and buy their newest mecha color line, including some colors you won't find anywhere else, like sets specific for the Endless Waltz Gundams and our Plamo group color build set for the upcoming Plamo exhibition. You can also find primers, metallics, clear colors, and just about any automotive or military color you could want. Let me know how you like this episode and if there are other topics you'd love to explore. This has been Newtype Notebook. Once again, I'm Ricky. Thanks for listening and happy building.